Rashaad Penny or Ken Walker?
Come on.
Who are you going to draft? Who are you going to have more stock of in redraft fantasy football leagues this year? Okay.
Right.
Now we're going to start doing this series where we talk about, based on their ADP, who are you going to have more stock of? We might both like some of these players,
For sure.
but we have to make a decision based off of their current ADP. Who are you going to draft more? Okay. As of right now, ADP, and I looked at Fantasy Pros. Apparently, they take from ESPN, FanTrack, Sleeper, and a couple other websites to find an average.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this because this ADP doesn't represent what we have seen in our community in our mock drafts.
For sure.
But right now, in ADP for Fantasy Pros, Rashaad Penny is RB32, Ken Walker is RB34.
Right.
However, if you look at our last 3 mock drafts, Ken Walker is going significantly higher than Rashaad Penny.
Right.
Okay, in our last 3 mock drafts, Rashaad Penny has been RB 37, 34, and 37, averaging RB 36. Ken Walker has been RB 26, 26, and 27, averaging RB 26.
Mm-hmm.
So if you actually look at the last 3 mock drafts that we have done, that we've hosted on Sleeper, Penny is going 10 RBs after Ken Walker. So I don't understand the disconnect right now between Fantasy Pros and Sleeper mock drafts and ADP and maybe our community. I'm not sure, but just wanted to throw that out there. That's something that I'm keeping in mind. I don't know if I can really trust that ADP right now. If we look at stats from 2021, Rashaad Penny was RB 42. Ken Walker obviously was just drafted. So with that in mind, I think we see this differently. But I'm going to go ahead and let you take the floor first. Are you drafting Rashaad Penny or Ken Walker?
Yeah, I'm drafting Ken Walker. I'm a believer in Ken Walker. And yeah, the ADP is kind of mixed up. I mean, according to the community, they should both be going in the 7th. According to our community, they're going in Ken Walker's going in the 5th, and then Rashaad Penny's going in the 7th. According to you guys, once again, they're both going in mid 7th, early to mid 7th. But I am going Ken Walker, and this is the reasons behind it is because of, I looked into this, and it was so weird because I was trying to understand why was he so successful at the end of the season? Why is everyone so hyped on him? And I was watching highlights, and while you were away on your little getaway, I was looking at highlights of Rashaad Penny, and I can see how he can be successful, but I'm not choosing him. And these are the reasons why. Because out of those 6 weeks, from weeks 13 to 18, there was 6 weeks there, which was incredible. He was RB1 for sure. Like I back you there. But I wanted to get the context of these teams that he were playing, what was happening in these games, et cetera, et cetera. 2 out of those 6 games, he scored less than 8 points. So let's just get that out the way, right? 2 out of those 6 weeks as well, he scored over 26 points on team that allowed the 4th and 5th most points to running backs. So maybe it's just based off matchup, which I don't believe will be consistent throughout the season this coming year. Week 18, he played the Cardinals, where they rested most of their starters because they were in the playoffs. And when I say starters, the defensive starts. Most of these guys, they probably played 1 quarter, and then they just rested. And honestly, in my opinion, there's only one game I can truly be like, you know what? That was truly Rashaad Penny. Like, it was an even matchup all around. They gave him the workload. And it was his talent that shined over actually the context of everything that was happening, and that was against the Bears. And that was a snow game as well, where Russell Wilson was still throwing the ball. The snow was kind of affecting it, but in the second quarter, he really just took off in that Bears game. And I know that, I may sound harsh, and the reality is, and the expectation is that Rashaad Penny could be this top guy, where I don't believe that he can. And I don't think that we're all saying he can be a top 15 guy, a top 10 guy. I don't even think we can say, I'm not saying, I don't know if Zach is saying he can be a top 20 guy. I'm comfortable saying top 25, top 30. I think that's really comfortable for Rashaad Penny compared to what he finished last year, RB 42. I see this workload going 50-50. I do believe Ken Walker is more talented than Rashaad Penny. And I know I've been saying this a lot in the community. I won't be surprised if Ken Walker is going to take the majority of the workload by the early to mid of the season, okay? And Rashaad Penny is there. can Rashaad Penny stay healthy? He's missed more than 5 games in each and every single year outside of his rookie year. I don't know if I want to bank on that.
Sure.
I'm not trying to wait on and say, well, Rashaad Penny, let's wait and see if Rashaad Penny stays healthy. And that's the risk with everyone, for sure. We don't know who's going to be healthy. We don't know who's going to get injured. But I think I believe in the talent of Ken Walker. I believe where this team is going, and this team is going to run the ball. So if I can get Ken Walker, who I believe is going to get the majority of the touches by the second half of the season in the 5th round, according to our community, then get Ken Walker, or then get Rashaad Penny in the 7th round, that's probably going to give, in the way I'm viewing it, 6 to 8 games. Or 6 to 8 games. I think that's pretty even. That's half and half. Then I'd rather get Ken Walker in the second half because I want to make that playoff push. I want to get Ken Walker and be like, you know what, help me in the flex when one of my guys on the bye. Help me get 10 to 15 points, 12 to 18 points, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the reasons why I'm taking Ken Walker based off his talent, based off of how I believe this offense is going to look, and also the touches that I believe he can get on the ground and, oddly enough, in the air. I know we say he's not a pass catching back, but I said this before. I can see him averaging 2 to 4 to 5 touches on a good day, on a really good day. And that over a couple of weeks, he can see a lot of targets as that accumulates. So that's why I'm taking Ken Walker over Rashaad Penny.
Okay. So I'm going to have some replies for some of the things that you had talked about here in a second. Definitely respect the take. I want to say this first off. To be clear, I think Ken Walker is going to be a fantastic running back in the NFL. In dynasty leagues, I have him in quite a few dynasty leagues. I believe in his long-term future. However, if I have to choose one right now, and by the way, I don't think it's impossible for Penny and Walker to succeed together.
For sure.
Okay? With this team identity. But if I have to choose one, give me Rashaad Penny. Firstly, I don't think that Fantasy Pros' ADP is really representative of what the community actually thinks of these two players. Right. I have never been in a mock draft where I've seen Rashaad Penny go ahead of Ken Walker. Right. Never. I've never seen it.
I'm interested to see that as well. Like, if there's anyone that's out there that have seen Rashaad Penny taken before Ken Walker, please comment and
let us know.
Let us know, because we haven't seen it in our community.
I've never seen it ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's look at what Rashaad Penny did last year, because it was impressive. And I do think we need to talk about it, and I have some replies to what you said. From weeks 1 to 12, he was dealing with injuries. He had 17 total carries in those 11 games. The team was 3-8 in that span. Now, I'm not suggesting that without Penny was the reason they won games, because Russell Wilson, there's a bunch of injuries, but I'm just throwing some information out there. Weeks 13 to 18, he was the running back 1 in all of fantasy.
Yep.
In the fantasy playoffs, you wanted Rashaad Penny and Devin Singletary. Those were the 2 running backs you wanted on your team. He averaged 17 carries a game from weeks 13 to 18. He had 6.9 yards per attempt, averaged 1 touchdown a game. The team was 4-2 in that span. Okay. From weeks 13 to 18, Rashaad Penny was the offense in Seattle. Okay. Russell Wilson was looking terrible after that finger injury. I don't know if you guys remember that. He did not look like himself.
Didn't have his touch.
And I think this whole narrative that Ken Walker is just a better talent, this isn't to devalue Ken Walker, because I like him. Again, I really like Ken Walker. But I think we're devaluing Rashaad Penny, who was a first-round pick in 2018. And if we're looking at these players as far as prospects coming out of college, I don't think you can point to Ken Walker and just say he's a better prospect. Why? Why is he a better prospect? Because I think people are forgetting what Rashaad Penny did in college and how people viewed him coming into the NFL draft. He was still drafted as a first-round running back. Now, this was a long time ago, and it's safe to say that the Seattle Seahawks would not make that pick again if they could go back, right? I don't think that's because of the talent. I think that's because of the injuries that we've seen. However, let's not forget the talent that is there. I think this narrative that Ken Walker is just automatically a better talent, I don't think that's really something that we can just bank on for fantasy purposes. I agree that Ken Walker is the better running back to own long term, but I don't think that we can just say Ken's a better talent because I think so, you know? So The other thing is, I know you had talked about, weeks 13 to 18, this is situational. Well, it's kind of hard not to give Penny credit for performing well
For
when
sure.
he's expected to perform
For
well.
sure. And that's what I said. I was happy with
think
everything
about that.
he did.
We could do that for any running back in the NFL. We could discredit them because they did what they were supposed to. I mean, what about JT's performance versus the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football last year?
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to do that, but because it was versus the Jets, where we need to take that away. I mean, I think it's more just speaks to he did what he was supposed to do in those games when he was given the opportunity. He couldn't choose who he was playing against.
For sure. But I think,
and then
sorry, continue.
The other thing I was going to talk about is, what is this team's goal this year? It's to run the damn ball. Think about the Colts fan who was wearing that hat, basically telling the Colts to run the ball.
Right.
The goal of this team is to run the damn ball. And Pete Carroll's teams have been their best when two things happen: when they have a top 5 to 10 defense, which they don't have right now. But one thing that they can do this year is an offense that operates through the run game. Again, I said this at the beginning. Why can't Penny and Ken both be successful in this offense? However, I'm just not someone who thinks, yeah, Ken's going to be the guy. Just because he was drafted, he's going to be the guy. You know what I did wrong last year is I said Javonte Williams, and I do believe he's a much better talent than Melvin Gordon. But this is what I did wrong last year in my process. I said he was drafted in the second round. He's the better talent. He's going to be the guy. How long was I waiting last year in redraft leagues for that to happen? It didn't happen. Javonte never became the guy because Melvin was still a very talented running back who, yes, was devalued in fantasy, and he became a value. So I think if you were a Javonte Williams owner last year and you just said, well, I think he's going to be the guy because of draft capital, how long were you waiting? And I don't think it's all that crazy to really compare these two teams because they're kind of in the same, like Denver last year is very similar to Seattle this year. So if you're just saying, let's just wait until, how long are you going to be waiting then? Like, how long are you going to be waiting until that actually happens? If it even does, how long do you need to wait?
Right.
And if you think that Ken Walker is going to be the guy eventually, well, that doesn't make Ken Walker valuable after a draft. If Ken Walker is not going to be the guy for the first 6 weeks, like some people are saying, it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks? You're telling me we're in week 8 and we don't even know if Ken Walker's the guy yet? I mean, if that's the case, if you truly believe that, trade for Ken Walker in week 7. Trade for Ken Walker in week 6. Trade right before you think that crossover is going to happen, because trade value is always week by week. And if you don't think Ken's going to be the guy from day one, you honestly shouldn't draft him. Genuinely, that's how I feel.
Right.
Now, I kind of see this more as a split backfield, and I've said, again, I think they both can succeed. But even reports that are coming out of the Seattle Times, now, take this with a grain of salt, okay?
Right.
Because I can't sit here and tell you some of these other reports are completely invalid and sit here and tell you that this is valid. But Bob Condotta projects Rashaad Penny to be the Seahawks' primary back and potentially see 20-plus carries per game to open the 2022 season. That was reported yesterday, 2 days ago. So again, to open the season, well, you're going to have so much more trade value for Rashaad Penny than Ken Walker for the first, how long is that to open the season period, right?
Right.
And then the last thing I'll say is, right now, I'm more looking at our actual community ADP than I am Fantasy Pros. And I'm happy to be wrong if by, like, let's say it's late August and they are back to back, then I don't have a problem taking either. But at this point right now, in all of our mock drafts, I see Walker going way higher, and I just don't think that I want to do that. I mean, I looked at the last 3 mock drafts that we've done. These are the players going around Ken Walker right now: Rashad Bateman, Darnell Mooney, Tony Pollard, Adam Thielen, Juju, A.J. Dillon, Drake London, Brandon Cooks, and Cortland Sutton. But the players going around Rashaad Penny right now, you got Ayuk, Russell Gage, Ronald Jones, Kadarius Toney, Devin Singletary, Elijah Moore, Pat Fryermuth, Hunter Renfrow, D-Hop, Edmonds. So as it currently stands in our community, and I don't know, maybe our community isn't the best gauge, but as it currently stands, you can get much better players around where Walker's going than where Penny is going. And I would just rather take the shot on Penny. So, again, last thing I'll say, I'm very open to drafting both of these guys. I'm not anti Ken Walker. I like Ken Walker. I think he's going to be fantastic. I just don't know if this is the year. And if we're saying it will happen at some point, that's not been a recipe for success in redraft. So,
for sure.
And by the way, if it comes to draft season and there's still this 10 running back gap between Penny and Ken, I will have so much stock of Penny. So much stock of him. But if they're back to back, it's going to be much harder. So
yeah,
I got to go Rashaad Penny right now with what I know.
No, yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I think the biggest thing, and I think a lot of people, I think the community is also thinking, maybe our community is thinking, because we've been talking about it, is that can Rashaad Penny stay healthy? And we've seen that, and we don't know if he can, and we don't know if he, we haven't seen him play a full season. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. I believe, we've been looking. We can say he's a first round draft pick, and I guess just to rebuttal on some things, Rashaad Penny, it was a first round draft pick, but he doesn't play like a first round draft pick, and maybe the expectations of Ken Walker, and we haven't, and that's the thing, we haven't seen it.
He just did. I mean, he hasn't had a chance to do that. Chris Carson was the guy for a long time,
for sure.
And injuries. I mean, like injuries, I understand, but how can you predict that? I mean, no one drafted Debo last year because of injuries, even though he was an extremely talented guy. So it's.
And I think that there's the stigma around that.
Why? What's stopping Walker from getting injured?
For sure, and I think it's the history of Rashaad Penny. It always stopped us to not take Debo because he was injury prone. It stopped us for drafting James Conner because he was injury prone. But when these guys succeed for a long period of time, like they both did, where Rashaad Penny was 6 weeks, it wasn't even the full season, where both of these guys, and in different positions and different players, were both successful after a long injury-prone history. That is a little bit different narrative. But I think with Rashaad Penny, we saw a really small glimpse of that injury, of him coming back and being successful, which I think scares me specifically.
Sure, I understand that.
And I think maybe that's what a lot of people are also thinking.
Let's be clear. Rashaad Penny's not going to play 17 games. That's not going to happen. Okay? Melvin Gordon didn't play 17 games. Did we see Javonte? Do you remember when Javonte was the guy for that 1 week because Melvin was injured and everyone said, it's Javonte Williams season? Well, no. Melvin Gordon was back next week, and it was still a 50% workload.
I also think
last thing quickly here.
Right.
The narrative that Ken is just going to be the guy, if you're drafting him that way, I think you're really going to end up hurting yourself because it's not just going to happen. Rashaad Penny's playing for his career. He is playing for his career. If there's any year he's going to play through injuries, it's this year. He has to play for his career. So,
and when I say I think Ken is going to be the guy or get the workload, I'm agreeing he's starting. I have it here. It's going to be 50-50 workload, and then he's going to gradually lose touches. So maybe they both finish, like you said, back to back every week, and then you see the gradual uptick of Ken Walker, which will then, in my mind, and that's how I'm viewing it. That's how I'm viewing it.
We just don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just people are thinking that it will. It doesn't mean that it's exactly what happened with Javonte last year.
And that's the point of fantasy.
We thought it would happen, but it didn't. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But I'm literally talking through a very similar scenario that happened just last year.
Right.
So
and I think, and for those
I got burnt by it.
Right.
I got burnt by that in a lot of leagues.
I think for that situation specifically, I guess the one last thing I'll rebuttal on that situation would just be Melvin is a far more talented and superior running back, in my opinion, than Rashaad Penny. And we've seen the history of Melvin.
Did not look good the year before they drafted Javonte.
No.
So 2020 Melvin did not look good.
He didn't look good, but what was he?
We weren't
top
coming
20
into
guys
the season
still? Something like that?
That's what I'm saying. We weren't coming into the season saying, oh my God, Melvin Gordon is incredible.
For sure. For sure.
We couldn't look at, any span. So anyway, look, I think that for me, I don't have, like I said, it's all about ADP for me. If Ken Walker truly is being valued right around Rashaad Penny, then let's look at what our options are. But right now, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, gotta wait
by the way,
see.
in my rankings, I literally have them back to back. I have Penny as my RB33, Walker as my RB34. And again, I think in-season trading, you're going to be potentially happier to have Penny in the first 5 weeks, and you can trade him away if you don't believe in him, than Walker. I don't know how quickly that will happen, but
yeah, we gotta wait and see.
And if we're talking about injuries, I think Ken Walker has a hamstring injury right now.
Yeah, that's fine, and
it can happen to anyone. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm
anyway.
not saying it can't. I think like the injury history, and it's real. Like the injury prone players. If there's a list of injury prone players in the National Football League, Rashaad Penny will be on that list.
Sure.
You know,
so
and I think
Samuel last year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And
so
exactly.
There's two sides to every coin here, and if someone comments down below and says it has to be Ken Walker, I'm not upset. I mean, I understand people's perspectives, but that's my take on it. It's all value for me. It's all where can I get these guys on the board? And I think Penny
ADP, yeah, man.
His ADP is so much better for me in mock drafts right now. So
I hear you. All
right. Comment down below, guys. Let us know what you think. Where are you leaning with this take? Rashaad Penny, Ken Walker. Let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.